Hello,
Hello.
Trevor here,
Eleanor here.
and we're Topocata.
Animation studio based in Hertford, UK, and we specialise in our own technique of animation, which uses paper cutout and motion capture.
You said it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for all you creative types out there who want maybe a few tips and tricks from professionals. We say we're professional.
We're pretty professional.
So what are we talking about today, Eleanor?
We are talking about great ways we've found to manage our images.
Yes, obviously very important in a creative context.
Yes.
Keep track of your images. But we're also talking about how you sort of catalogue them for reference.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah, because we talked about that a little bit. I would say last week, but it wasn't last week, was it, Eleanor?
No, we had a holiday.
We had a holiday.
And
This is like when the stars align, having a holiday.
So we missed last week. If you missed us, that's
Yeah,
great.
I hope you noticed.
But maybe not. So we're back refreshed and
Episode 10.
episode 10, yeah. So, yeah, we're talking about great ways we've found to manage our images.
Yes.
Because obviously once you start collecting reference and, you go to exhibitions or you're looking through books or all of those things, your camera,
Mm-hmm.
you have hundreds and hundreds of images.
Yes.
And that
Can become a bit overwhelming.
it can.
So one thing we can recommend not using is Finder.
Well, Finder is very good for the very basics,
Yeah.
Navigate to the folder and,
Yes.
But what we're talking about is actually an intuitive way to find that image that you might not have labelled particularly well.
Yes.
Or you put it into one project and it is relevant for another. Or there's
Right.
so many ways
Yeah,
to
because
use that.
I know it's because if you have it in a folder, that folder would be great for that particular project. But when you come to the next project, you might want to reuse that image as reference for something else.
Yeah.
Now, there are tags, and you can organize things by tags, but that in itself can become a little bit daunting because, if you're working with other people, I'm looking at Eleanor, you might just put another tag on it that isn't relevant to the other person. Why are you looking at me like that? So it might be quite difficult to find.
It gets a bit messy.
Exactly, you're
basically.
sort of duplicating tags, aren't you?
Well, as well as possibly duplicating imagery, which
Yes.
also you don't want to do because of storage and all sorts of other reasons.
Absolutely.
So Finder is a basic, and it's not useful in this context.
No, you really need a proper image management system if you're going to be creative and you're going to use images for reference as well.
So we've also used in the past both Google Photos and Apple Photos.
Yes, Apple just likes to call it photos.
Yeah, but we need to call it something.
Yeah,
True.
but we need to call it something, otherwise it won't make any sense.
And of course they use their cloud
Storage.
storage, which after a certain amount level you start paying for,
Yes.
which is fine if you're fine with that, but
Yeah, and there's that.
Why?
And
pay.
yeah, you don't need to pay in that way. I think we're going to not only talk about image cataloging and image libraries, but also a method for storing them as well, storing them. So, I mean, storage isn't the most exciting thing to talk about, but if it means that you're avoiding having to store your photos with Google or Apple and have more ownership of your photos.
Yeah.
So, fine, I know they're more convenient, those services, but there is an alternative, and that means that you have ownership of your own photos. Because if they're on Google or Apple, it's almost as if you're sort of storing them in their library.
Yeah.
If anything happens, if they change their privacy settings, there's all sorts of things that we feel it's better to have the images in your own database, on your own disks.
And you can back that up, so it's
And you can back that up as well, and you can then pick and choose which backup service you use, because there's various offline backup services that you can use. So I can put a link to some of those.
Yeah, it reminds me of a friend I have who uses Facebook for storage, basically.
Oh my goodness.
Or not just that, obviously, but he's
He made that
reluctant to go off of Facebook because all that history and those fantastic photos of family and holidays and
Yes.
friends and all those things, and you can look back over the years and it's fantastic, but
It's all-
Facebook's got them.
Yeah, Facebook's got them.
So if anything was to happen to Facebook, or like Trevor said, protocols are changed or whatever,
Yes.
or they decide they need to charge,
Yes.
you've put all of your memories and things that you care about there in their hands, and that
Yes.
just seems a little bit mad.
So exactly. So talking about storage can be for wider context. It's not just the images for your creative purposes, but yes, it can be anything because they're discs. There could be audio files. We use it for music and stuff like that. So the storage that we use it's called NAS,
Which stands for
Network Access Storage.
right.
Yeah, very interesting. Essentially, that makes it sound more technical than it actually is, really. It's basically, I feel, it's almost plug and play way of having your own storage in your own house or your own studio. And you plug it into, it's just a set of discs in a big box, not that big, that you can plug into your router.
So it's on the Wi-Fi, basically.
So it's on the Wi-Fi, so that means that you can access them if you're out and about as well. So
Yes.
when we mention the music, we access the music
When we're on holiday.
when we're on holiday. So you can. So it is a little bit like having Google Photos or
Or in the
Apple
iCloud,
Photos,
yeah.
but you can access them wherever you want as well, and you can store more than just photos, and it's yours.
Yeah, so that's if you're abroad, you can still listen to your discs at home
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool, and
as long as the broadband is
yeah,
fine.
and also we had a power cut one time. We had a power cut locally here, so it didn't it reset.
Yeah, so there are.
But we didn't
downfalls.
know there was a power cut.
Yeah,
But yes, but the massive advantage is that you're storing your images on your own device. And I'll put a link in the description to the one that we've got. It's not the fastest and it isn't the most storage.
But you can
obviously,
add to
the more
it.
you pay, the more.
but you can
storage,
add
yeah.
to that later as well.
Yeah, you can add to it as well. Yeah. And it also backs itself up. So it's got sort of backup disks within the box itself, so that every day or whatever it backs up onto this other set of disks, because everyone knows that disks can fail. It's usually one disk,
We've
and
had
so
that.
the other disks, yes, so the other disks have actually got that backed up, and you can restore it from. So it's secure, but we would always recommend an offline backup service as well,
Yes,
so that you've got extra assurance that you're not going to lose everything.
we called ours the Great Purge.
Oh, what, when we lost stuff?
We lost quite a lot of stuff years ago, like very soon to setting up.
Yeah,
Wasn't
and that
it?
was a different. That was a removable hard drive, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
we plugged it into an old powered USB thingy, and it went pop.
Yes, and we lost out.
We
and
did.
the offline matched the naught.
Oh yeah,
in
the
our-
offline backup went.
yeah.
Oh right, so there's nothing there. So it just It
so
just
it's
wiped
synchronized
everything.
by wiping everything
Yeah, that
as
wasn't.
well for us.
So we've learnt a lot since that. And also that was it wasn't like hard disks.
No.
It was can't remember what they call them now, but it wasn't hard disks, even though they seem a little bit more easy to fail. If they do, it's much easier to recover stuff from them.
Yes, because there's an actual disc.
Solid state drive, that's
solid
what I had.
state. Oh, so
So
that's
there's
the
a
other
solid
thing.
state drive, which
You can't
there's
get
no
into.
moving parts in it.
Yeah.
So it's very high tech and it's very swish and it's probably more reliable. But if it goes,
It's gone.
it's gone, pretty much. We couldn't get anyone to recover from it, to recover any data from it. So whereas discs, a very tangible thing you can open up and you can sort of try and salvage it if you need to.
So that's the NAS.
So that's the NAS. That's just the storage. So we've come this far, and we've just talked about the storage. Now let's talk about some of the actual image tools that we use.
So we use one called PureRef, which it's a way of sort of quickly collating inspiration images onto a board. So it's a bit like a mood board. So you could be using Pinterest in this sort of same way.
I suppose so, yeah.
I mean, that's a sort of search as well.
It is,
but the PureRef is a really nice, succinct, clear way of just collecting all sorts of inspiration onto one space.
Yeah, one board, if you like.
Yeah, and from there you can print out, or there's
you can
share and all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. So, it's all right having an image library and all these images, but actually when you want to work on a particular project, you want to just collect a few images together, like you say, on a mood board style, that you can just quickly refer to and in a nice compact way. So PureRef allows you to drag and drop images, and then it can automatically arrange those into a nice grid or whatever you decide.
So you're not faffing around, which we all know takes quite a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to arrange images on the actual board itself.
And it's free for personal use.
Yes, it is.
And it's something like $49 for business, and you get three seats. Right.
Yeah.
And that's for Windows or for Mac.
Yes. And you can add to that as well if you needed more seats. So that's just, when we talk about seats, we just mean an extra computer.
Yes.
So on the basic price, you could have 3 computers all using it.
Yeah, for $50.
But for most people, you've got that free personal option, which you get all the features. It works really, really well. It's very, very simple to use.
It's pretty intuitive, and it's a nice little thing to be able to start the project. You just want to get things together.
Yes.
See how they look together, maybe color systems or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's a really nice way just to sort of spur you into the project.
Yes.
But the main thing that we sort of use a lot.
The main event.
Da, 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 da. Is called.
It's called Eagle.
Eagle 4.
Eagle 4 now, yeah. So this is hot off the press. Eagle 4 only came out August 15th.
And I was on holiday, and I haven't used Eagle 4. Eagle 3 was brilliant, so I can talk about that. But the Eagle 4 has got even more going on.
It's got even more. Now, let's state once again that no one at Eagle is paying us.
No,
we're not getting
or even aware.
No. More to pity, if they're listening. No, but we genuinely only ever mention things that we use that we think are fantastic anyway.
Yeah.
And Eagle is a fantastic tool for using as an image library, really.
Yeah, so it's $29.95, and that's for 2 seats. And
that's pounds, $29.95.
Yes, £29.95.
Pounds.
And if you're a student or a teacher, you get 30% off of that. So
yeah,
that's
pretty good.
That's really amazing.
That's a one-off payment as well. There's no subscription.
Yes. We're not keen on subscription.
No, you might have heard that.
So the way we use Eagle,
yes,
is you can import your images. So basically, if you've been to an exhibition or you scan things from a fantastic book, whatever, you can import them and label them, and they're there. You can label the color, or you don't actually need to label color, do you?
No, you don't. This is the fantastic thing about it. It's very adaptable. So in the most ways that you would want to catalogue your images, it caters for that. So it's very much for people who, it's beautifully designed.
It's very intuitive. It's quite calming.
Yes.
User interface.
And you can have folders as you'd expect, but you can have multiple things in different folders. I suppose you could have one image that can go into several different folders.
Yeah, but
those folders are just like filters. They're not the same.
So you haven't
repeated.
Folders. You haven't repeated the image anywhere.
No.
Storage-wise.
Yeah, that's the best way of putting it. Thank you. I was trying to think of a way of saying it, but it really helps because you think, well, I want to use that image not just as reference for this particular project, but I want to use it for reference for other project. Well, you can have it in multiple folders without duplicating the image.
Yeah.
And It has tags. It does show you which tags already exist, and as you start typing, it will suggest a tag. So that's helps to prevent multiple tags with just maybe a plural.
Yes, yeah. It's
So-
got all the metadata as well.
It has all the metadata. They've just in Eagle 4 they've added a huge amount of plugins. And plugins are basically just mean that you can add features to Eagle if you want to. So you can just download these extra plugins. One is to remove backgrounds from images, so you can isolate people from the background and just maybe put in just one color or whatever you wanted to do with it. Upscaling, so you can have, if your image is really pixelated and rubbish, you can send it through the upscaler and it uses AI to make
Fill
it
in the
into a nice
gaps.
pristine
Yeah.
image. It's pretty amazing. And it has a way of, in bulk, reducing the file size of your images.
Yes, yeah. And you can change formats as well. You can store it in different formats, or if
Yeah.
you need it for different outputs.
So it's pretty incredible. We'll obviously put a link in the description to it, but it's just something we thought we'd mention because it's how we organise our reference imagery.
So one of the new features also is more libraries. So at the
Yes.
moment we use it for mainly use it for our inspiration, storing inspiration and using that, collecting from wherever you find them.
Yes.
So camera or other source. But now we're thinking we might well use this for our own work. So for
Mhm.
example, in Finder, if you want to go and use Finder image for promotion,
Mm-hmm.
you need to spend a little bit of time, allow yourself some time
Yes.
to go down a few routes that you think could be most likely, but possibly not. So this is going to be fantastic in that we can put all those promotional videos and imagery,
Yes.
so it does video as well,
Yes. It does video.
GIFs and stuff,
Yes.
into that one space. So, and if you need to cut the background out, like you say, and put yourself in a different background for that perfect headshot, that's
It's
perfect.
possible now.
doable. Yeah.
And
yeah.
it does, the amount of file formats that it accepts is huge. Even Affinity, we've talked about the Affinity suite that we use. So project files, it can keep those. I believe it does Photoshop. Not so bothered about Photoshop, but it does
must
a
do,
wide range of
yeah.
files. So it's definitely worth checking out. We use it, we import images into it. That's because we don't want it just to get conflated with loads and loads of images that we might never go back to. We want to make sure it's kind of a precious space with images that we really need.
Yeah, the images that matter. So you could set up a smart folder and get all your images from your phone in there, but then who wants all that stuff from Instagram?
Who wants to trawl through all that? So it's been fantastic for us to kind of treat it as these images are the only images in here are going to be great images.
Yes,
that we
so they're
really
all
want.
useful, basically.
They're all useful.
All useful images. If they're not, then we take them back out again.
Yeah. Why's Trevor put that in? Yeah, so we'll put a link in. It's definitely worth checking out. We thought it'd be incredibly useful for anybody who wants to deal with imagery that's going to be inspiration or catalogue their photos or whatever they want to do. You use it in your own way.
It's not a program that you can actually change the imagery.
No, no, I don't think it has any image manipulation tools. I could look, maybe the plugin, but that's not really what it's for.
Yeah.
Because you can actually go and edit your images in other software. It's not trying to do that task, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. So this is purely sort of catalogue and finding.
Yeah, filing your images. Yeah.
Which is a major deal when that is, like us, that's what we deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll put a link to that and any useful, because there's a useful video about it as well, which is very snazzy video that has all the new features.
Oh, all the new add-ons. Yeah,
Eagle
that
4
looks.
in it.
I mean, it does look great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do a bit more finding out about it.
Yeah,
myself.
if you're dealing with imagery, definitely check this out. So I think we've given a good tip there, actually, because it's definitely a little gem and maybe a little bit undiscovered by a lot of people. We'll leave it there. I think we've sort of, showcased Eagle as much as we possibly can and given you some ideas of how you might actually deal with your imagery.
Yes. Yeah.
So What should people do, Eleanor?
They could, and I think it's number 10 before I remember to say this, they could follow us. That would be fantastic.
Follow us. So we're on episode 10, so
Yeah.
we're committed now. There's no going back.
But we're also our own blog, so you could go to our
Yes,
website
I'll
and
put a link to that.
follow our blog.
Mhm.
Please comment and tell us what you use, or
Yes.
don't say anything too bad.
Well, from our blog, you can go and have a look at some of our work as well. So we've got I like to think, quite a unique style of animation. And it's very much sort of come out of just us two kind of testing things out. So it shows what you can do in a small studio, just, with very limited resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for listening.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll leave it there.
And see you next time.
Yeah, until next time. Goodbye.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.